I'm Alan McFarlane. Welcome to the conversation with Alan McFarlane. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to have you along. Brother WD Foster Graham usually does Thursdays. We focus Thursdays on books and the arts. He's taking care of some personal care, and we're wishing him well in recovery, all of that. He'll be back. But we're glad to be here today, and this is an important week. We are celebrating Rondo Days. Rondo Days takes place not this Saturday, but next weekend, the 19th, Saturday the 19th. And we know that this is like the largest Black celebration in Minnesota for sure, perhaps in the region. And we want to focus on that. We had a great conversation yesterday. We have a great one for you today, and we expect a great one tomorrow as well. And I want to begin today's conversation by talking to one of the organizers, the community activists, the activators, who has invested time, energy, love, genius into the idea of building and maintaining and nurturing community. She is Ms. Mercedes. She's an author, an organizer, an entrepreneur, among other things. We'll find all of that out. Let me first of all say, Ms. Mercedes, welcome to the conversation, and thank you for being here. We'll get to bring you in. Hold on. Let me bring you into there we go. Now we are. Okay.
Hello.
Hey,
Thank you
hey.
for having me. How are
And
you?
I'm really well, and it's so good to be with you. We had you on the cover of this past week's publication, and thank
Yes,
you for
that was a
that.
nice surprise. I was
Yeah.
just at work at 825 Arts, minding my business,
Mhm.
planning for these events, and then I got a voicemail from you and was like, "Hey," and I didn't even know what you were talking about. It's like, "Isn't that you on the a picture with Rakim?" And I'm like,
Mhm.
"Huh?" And you're holding up the Rondo Days book, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that is me." And then you're like, "It's gonna be the front cover," and I was like, "Oh," so yeah, that was a blessing. Thank you.
Well, and then to discover that you and your husband are the originators of that photograph, and he's a photographer as well. What I did tell you, we're going to follow up on, is I want to do another interview with you and him as a family of creatives, right? And
Oh,
feature more of your work as an author, an educator, and feature his work as an artist and photographer. I think that the skills you guys bring to community are phenomenal, and
oh wow, thank you.
I think you represent, this wellspring of what I call talent and natural genius in our community. Sometimes we fall into thinking that things we do are exceptional, and they're not. In particular, they're just what we do, and
Hmm.
what we do is so good that other people might call it genius, but for us, we're just breathing and
Being
walking,
ourselves, yeah.
thinking and doing, and that in and of itself is brilliance personified. So I take my hats off to you and to your husband for all the work that you do and for all of the creatives in our community. Well, uh, Rondo Days celebrates that wellspring of knowledge and connectivity. And when I say Rondo, as an insider, what do you want to tell the world about?
Well, as you mentioned, Rondo is just a very special place and it's very spiritual as well. And Rondo Days is significantly just special because of the people who are involved in it. Like, I'm a fourth Rondo generation descendant. Everyone
Mm,
on the Rondo Avenue Inc. board are Rondo descendants. So our family helped build the Rondo community and 40 plus years before that, and a lot of them migrated from the South. My family, the Yarbrough side, they came from Mississippi, and yeah, so there's just a spiritual component that also ties into our ancestors that brings a magical just feeling in essence when you're at Rondo Days, because like when Mr. Floyd Smaller and Marvin Anderson started it in 1983, the whole point was to bring families back because after the 94 freeway, everyone was displaced. Many people left and moved outside of St. Paul Rondo, and they just wanted to bring everyone back because it was a special place. So every year when we do have Rondo Days, everyone comes back and it's just a magical energy that you feel that you can't really explain except you have to be there.
Well, give the geography. When we say Rondo, what are we talking about geographically? And you mentioned the freeway. That's really the big story. And the
Hmm.
freeway, it was not and is not to be seen as a benevolent uh, development, at least from the point of view of our community, of our wealth, and the freeway's strategy of the community and of the country devastated Black communities
Hmm.
everywhere. Tell people that story to the knowledge, to the degree that you can.
Yeah, so in 1956, President Eisenhower had started the Freeway Act, and all of this is also featured in the going back to Rondo and Rondo Days comic book because this history is very important, and I wanted to make it in a fun, cool way where kids could learn about it, and just even elders can appreciate that the history is still being told. And but the freeway went right through our community, and we had over 700 Black-owned home ownerships, 300 Black-owned businesses. It was a thriving community. We had our own grocery stores, doctor's office, just everything was Black-owned, and you could walk places, bike ride, and all of that was stripped and taken away after this freeway. And today in 2025, we have less than 15% of the population, the Black population, that is home ownership or even Black-owned businesses in the community. So that's what this freeway did. It took away generational wealth and really broke a spirit. So a lot of people don't really understand the power of Rondo. Like before that freeway came, Rondo was a thriving Black community. The nightlife was magnificent. Like
Mhm.
people don't realize Berry Gordy experienced the nightlife and took that vision he's seen back to Detroit and made Motown. Um,
I
he
don't know that
was,
story. Wait.
oh, I know, and
This is
some of even like the Harlem Renaissance, like people experience things, and then this is even documented in Essence magazine that
mhm,
Frankie Beverly, the "Before I Let You Go" song, was about a
mhm.
woman from Rondo. So Rondo was very
Really, really.
historic when it came to music,
Mhm,
theater, art,
mhm.
dance, just culture, because a lot of people from the South migrated to Rondo. Rondo was a land of opportunity where you could buy land and really start your own life because back then it was very limited to our African American community to do that anywhere else. But Rondo was a space and a place that was welcoming to all, and we really took advantage of that.
Tell me about the Berry Gordy story. That's something I've never heard before. Let's hear that. Give me that background.
This is what an elder told me, but that he had came, a lot of people came to Rondo, and the nightlife in Rondo was, it was a vibe and something similar to the Harlem Renaissance. And when people left, like, because a lot of people don't realize people migrated, a lot of people came from Rondo and then would go somewhere else, especially after being displaced. So
Mhm.
Rondo has a lot of historic individuals that came from here. And my goal is to just get more people to start representing Rondo, saying like, I'm a fourth generation Rondo descendant. So now when people think of Rondo, they think of Ms. Mercedes, Rondo Double Dutch, and realize like, yes, I'm a product of this community. And we have so many people like that that are just doing amazing things when it comes to the arts specifically around the nation.
Well, let me have you make the invitation to our viewers and listeners. Invite them to support, show up, and enjoy and learn at Rondo Days.
Yeah, so I'm also the community engagement director at 825 Arts. We're a brand new art center in the Rondo Frogtown community, right off of University in Victoria. This was actually a community's dream. So 15 years ago, the light rail was being installed right off of University in Victoria in 2009. And it really affected small businesses. That's when a lot of gentrification was happening in the community. And the Rondo Frogtown community members were not happy about it. And Model Cities was build the brownstone building right next door
Mhm,
to us, and they were
mhm,
actually in the process of buying our building, demolishing it, and turning it into a parking lot for their residents. But
mhm.
the community members said, no, this is a 100-year-old building. We want an art center. We don't have and a lot of people, like I mentioned, a lot of people don't realize the history in Rondo is not just the freeway. Like we have
Mhm.
significant, talented artists that are
Mhm.
singers, dancers, production photographers. Think of Gordon Parks. But
Mhm.
when it comes to the arts, Rondo produces really special, talented people, and wanted a space to archive our history, past, present, and future. And Model Cities respected that. They backed out of the deal. We were able to make it a historical landmark, but we had no money. So for the
Mhm.
past 15 years, we've been raising money. And finally, last year on August
Mhm.
25th, 825, we had our grand opening, and we are about to celebrate our first year anniversary, August 25th. It was formerly known as Victoria Theater Arts Center, but we didn't want to be named after Queen Victoria. And our address is 825. So now we're on a mission to showcase the arts 825 different ways. And um, we were a community's dream. So now, as a community engagement director, I'm very intentional. I'm making sure that the community's dreams come true in this building. And by doing that, it is just like Roosevelt Mansfield. He is from the Rondo community. He was our artist of the month for June. He just had an exposition there, and he's actually going to show that same his art photography exposition at Rondo Days during the senior brunch. He showcased his Rondo legend, so significant Rondo elders who impacted his life and made a difference, such as Mayor Carter's family, his dad, Melvin Carter, Floyd Smaller, Ronnie Smith, Robin Hickman, all of these people and more, Teresa Battle, they were featured, and he took these beautiful photos. So come to Rondo Days. You guys get to see it if you didn't already see it at 825 Arts.
Naming that building anew, that's a significant thing. And tell me why it was important for you to not call it Victoria Arts, but to name it differently. And the reason I raised the question because it triggered an experience that I have in my own business. I bought a mansion, a mini mansion in North Minneapolis to be the headquarters for Insight News. And that building was called the Terra Mansion,
Mm.
Tara, as in Gone with the Wind. And because it has these stately columns in front, a balcony in front, a lot of wood, it's a beautiful place. And I said, uh, if I fit into the mold of the idea of the Terra Mansion, where would I be? And what would I
Hmm.
be doing? And I'm not having it, not having it. And so we changed the name. And this is the point I'm making. We call our place the Marcus Garvey House.
Oh, I
And
love that.
the idea is to understand that we have both the power and the right to name the world and name the future, and our actions reflect our confidence and our ability to do so. And so, how does that question of naming show up in your project?
I
And
love
both the Arts Center, but also Rondo.
yes, I love how you at the end of what you said was just saying how we have the power to create whatever our world is. That's really
Mhm.
what you said. And that is very true. And that's something that I really inspire and try to teach our future generation, that be the change you want to see. What is it that you want? Like everything that we see out here, that was a thought or an idea from someone, which
Mhm.
means, so yeah. But back to your question, um, Queen Victoria was just not a reflection of our community. Like it comes from just racism. Like
Yeah.
that's not us.
No.
And we did community engagement. Like
Mhm.
we asked the community and we asked them what we should name our new building. Some people said Rondo Art Center, Frondo after Frogtown and Rondo. And
Mhm.
just after 3 months of engagement, 825 Arts is what won.
Mhm.
And I loved it just because the community is diversifying, meaning
Mhm.
in the 1980s, that's when the East African and Southwest Asians population started migrating to our community. And
Mhm.
now our community is fully diverse of Ethiopian, Eritrean, Somali, Hmong, Karen, Hispanic, the list goes on. And specifically on our block, like right next door to us, is Demira, an Ethiopian restaurant. Then on the corner is West Indies, And then across the street is Homies and the Best Steakhouse. And all along University are these delicious Asian restaurants. So you get so much culture and just vibrancy in our neighborhood. And a lot of other cultures, they don't see what they're doing as art because that's just their culture. But now our name being 825 Arts, we're like, no, what you're doing is art because we showcase the arts 825 different ways, which is anything. So, and just to go back to why names have power, like our names have power. Just like when people speak your name, Al, I
Hmm.
teach, I have actually do a teaching with my students called The Power of Your Name. Whatever
Hmm.
your name means brings power because it's being spoken upon you constantly every day.
Hmm.
So that true meaning becomes a resemblance of you. And that's, yeah, we just want to give power to our name. And we don't want to give power to Queen Victoria.
Right. Let me bring another of your colleagues into the conversation. Oh, let me turn my phone off here. Hold on. And let's see, silence
Yeah.
that.
Before they want to come on, I just
Yeah.
want to share about the kids corner because at
Hmm.
Rondo Days, I'm in charge of the kids corner. Y'all know I'm your kids' favorite teacher. And this year is going to be really special. The theme is actually a spin-off of the comic books I made. So I'm going to have the different community organizations representing an invention that was featured in the comic book, such as the St. Paul Fire Department. They're going to be representing the Thomas J. Martin invention, fire extinguisher. And we just have different stations. And that this what is pulled up here, that's the kids zone performance lineup. So we have Rondo Double Dutch performing. We have Energy Dance Team and Dance with Purpose. They are two dance teams from the community. Then the Lady Legends is a 3-on-3 girls basketball tournament. I was actually a product of Steve and Lori Prelo. They were the coaches at MOK and started the Sugar um, organization at MOK. And so basketball has been a huge part of my life, and the girls, like the girls that come from Rondo, St. Paul, even Minneapolis, are amazing. You had like Angel Robinson, Ashley Ellis Mylan, and I went to Central High School during the dynasty team. So my best friends were like Kiara Buford, Angel Robinson, and Thea Taylor. So just when it comes to sports and athletes, I really want to showcase and honor our athletes from the community again, because a lot of great talent comes from here when it came to basketball, football, baseball, and then we also have the Twin City Skaters and Communication. And Communication is also an organization. It's a choir organization for youth that is, they do their programming at 825 Arts.
Okay. Do I have you still? I might have got dropped out or bounced. Hold on.
Yeah, so we got
Okay.
lots of fun things for the kids.
Okay. My technology, I'm trying to multitask while I'm here, and I've lost my page. Are you seeing me still?
Oh, yep, I see you.
Okay, great. Well, I can travel here kind of intuitive because my screen has somehow disappeared. But you had another image you put up with the bicycle. Jared, can you put that one up? Walk us through that as well.
Yes, so Biking with Baddies is an organization. They're usually in Minneapolis, like North Minneapolis,
Mhm.
held by Sierra. She's the founder of that, and they're promoting more healthy living with bike riding.
Mhm.
And so we're doing a partnership, and we're part of Rondo Day celebration, where we're going to ride through Rondo, and I'm going to give some history context that were featured in the Rondo comic books, and we're going to ride like past. We're going to start at Central Village Park, go to Haley Q. Brown, go past Tiger Jack, and just share some stories and knowledge and teach the people riding the history of Rondo in a fun, cool way. And we're also going to have an ice cream social. So just making learning fun, but also getting communities out and exercising and just start in Rondo. A lot of people don't realize Rondo Days isn't just a 1 day celebration. It's always been like a 4 day celebration of numerous things like senior brunch. Last year we had a movie in the park. I believe we're still having a movie in the park. But I'm in charge of this event and also the Kids Corner. So I have more knowledge to talk about those things.
Well, I want to have you talk about your family, the Yarboroughs, coming from Mississippi. My family on my mother's side is also from Mississippi. Nick and I talked about his Mississippi roots yesterday, and so I think this idea of the reality of our people being attracted to Rondo, to St. Paul, is an important idea. And as you said, the mix, the energy, the vibe in that community really has had national and global impact. Let me bring in Brother Roosevelt Mansfield, who's a photographer, and we used his image in last week's Insight News, and we're also using another image, a variation of it, in the upcoming edition of Insight News promoting Rondo. In fact, Jared, would you put the cover up and then bring in Roosevelt Mansfield, the creator, the photographer? Brother Roosevelt, yeah, that's the cover, Rondo Days 2025. What a beautiful image.
I love that. Yes.
This is an image from 2024, but we're promoting 2025. And this was the fabulous, legendary
MC Light.
MC Light, and also Rakim at the bottom there. So beautiful stuff, beautiful images. Brother Roosevelt, how you doing, man? Welcome to the conversation.
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. Give me your vibe on that cover that you did.
Mercedes. Actually, fun story. I was their DJ. I'm a DJ also, so I brought my camera behind my DJ booth. So I ran the sound and their sets. So I was actually MC Light's DJ and actually Rakim's DJ. So I'm like, I can't let this moment pass without capturing it. So I'm behind in the tables and I pull out my camera,
boom, boom.
Yeah. So that was the vantage point from the stage, from the DJ booth.
I think it showed the joy and the engagement of the audience. And, you didn't miss seeing the face of the artist, because all that is implied by the joy you see on the faces of the people in the audience. And I think it really captures the spirit of us vibing together, in music and in culture. And, of course, MC Light, Rakim, masters of the hip hop genre. And what a wonderful thing. So, Roosevelt, what's your story? How do you connect with Rondo?
I'm a son of Rondo. Grew up in Rondo. All my people, recently, last year, our oldest member of our family passed away, and she was 108. And
what was her name? Let's give her some shout outs to her.
Well,
tell me about her.
I always call her Aunt Toots. So I know she has a name, but I grew up calling her Aunt Toots.
Okay.
And she gave me, we had a really good conversation about what Rondo used to be. It was almost like a movie, how she described what Rondo was, who the people were, how everybody looked like us, doctors, lawyers, grocery stores, the kids going to have dances, the library. But it was all us, and it seemed like a movie, but to know that was real and my people came from that, I'm just proud to be a part of it, and I wear Rondo proud.
I saw a note that you said you're a self-trained photographer. Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about that. How did you, number one, develop the interest and then also develop the skill, the training? How did you train yourself? And what has been the outcome of that investment of energy, time, and vision? You're still a young person. From my point of view, you're at the beginning of the work.
Ooh, I'll take it. I'll take it. Hide these grays, But well, my story is around photography. I've always been, I'm a visual person, just like a lot of our kids. We're visual, and I grew up drawing from the Sunday paper. So when the Sunday paper comes, you know, you have all the comics, then you have all the advertising for the stores. And my mom used to always pick up the JCPenney magazine for me also. And so I used to draw fashion back in the days too. And so in my mind, it's like I can do that. You know, I have an imagination. I know where the light's coming from. I can create that. So as the years passed, you know, I kept drawing, but there was a point in my elementary, middle school years where I used to get teased about the drawings. So drawing dresses and hairstyles, it wasn't manly enough, so I got talked about. And so then I got in a lot of fights because, you know, don't say I'm something that I'm not. And so I kind of put it to the side. And but as the years passed, you know, my daughters played volleyball, gave me a good excuse to get a good camera. And so I just started to show people what I see. I couldn't explain it. I have to show you.
Yeah.
And so I started creating and turning some heads, and it kind of grown into like the people that I've been following, like Jamel Shabazz, for instance, world-renowned photographer. I'm a hip hop artist also, so he actually let us use one of his images for our album cover. It's cool, like a dream, right? And then I got to DJ for his art exhibit. He showed his works with Gordon Parks, downtown St. Paul, Choice of Weapons. And so I got to meet him face to face and let him know that I was a photographer. And so he actually paid attention to me, looked at my stuff, and now he's my mentor. So I just came back from New York with him. He invited me out to Photoville, and that was just like almost a month ago. And so he's helping to guide me through the game of photography when it comes to books and exhibits. And currently, I have an exhibit at 805 Washington. Is my Victorian project. The Victorian project is called Us. It is highlighting Victorian fashion, but Victorian fashion in that day, we were more charged of making that. Our women were the seamstresses, our men were the tailors, and we actually created that fashion of that era, but we never got credit for it.
Right.
So I wanted to put us back in it, but not us of the past, us of the future. That's how I infused Afrofuturism in the.
I love that.
And so, yeah, even when you think about the bustles back in the days, where it looks like they got big butts, that's us. That's our women. They realized how their men were checking out our women, and they wanted to emulate. You know, so they put it in their clothes. And it's the same thing nowadays, as far as.
And they're still doing it.
Yeah, it's always a thing.
Yeah.
But I want to really bring light to how integral our creativity is as Black people that we don't get credit for. So that's currently happening, and I got a piece, like a 30-foot by 40-foot piece behind the Orpheum Theater in Minneapolis, and one of my pictures is for the It's the People project. So I got my pictures out back there and up and down Hennepin Avenue on display also. So I've been
presently. Okay. I'm just asking Jared to pull up your website, because you've got your opening picture on your website. It's with the T-shirt, right? The shirt on, is that the one? A black shirt, or is it a copy? Is that your website or not?
Oh, that was that's just how I send my files, minding my own Black business.
Yeah, can you pull that up? Can you send that over to Jared? I think that's a powerful image.
Oh,
you know,
okay, I gotta find it.
Okay, if you can find it.
It's like when I deliver my images to people, that's what I want them to see. You know, whoever it is.
When I saw that, I said, "This is actually a cover for Inside News." So I want to have that particular photograph on the cover of our paper because I think it's powerful.
Oh, appreciate
But
it.
if you
Yeah.
can send it over to Jared, we'll show it. Uh, you know, and so Miss Mercedes, bring us back to Rondo and keep inviting people to Rondo Days coming up, date, time, place, and why people should not miss it.
Yeah, so this year it's always the third Saturday of July, which this year is July 19th. It starts at 11 to 7 p.m. It's going to be held at the original stopping grounds at Martin Luther King Center, right located off of 271 McKelvin Street. The kids corner will be on the Rondo playground. So I went to Museum Magnet, and Mr. Mansfield was actually one of my teachers there, one of my favorite teachers. So that just shows the power of community. Where Rondo, you know your teacher, the police officer is probably your neighbor, and just small stuff like that. And also a coach, like Mr. Mansfield was some of my friends and actually former students coach at Central High School. But that's what community is, and that is what makes Rondo. And what you're going to see at Rondo Days is the community come back, and it's like a family reunion. And I just read an article where it talked about how family reunions have decreased by 47% because a lot of the elders who were the foundation and like the organizers and really knew the importance of family kept that together. But after they transitioned on, it kind of died off. So my hope is that we can continue to keep that legacy alive and just the power and the spiritual aspect and energy and show this new generation what community looks like. Because as I mentioned, our community in Rondo has changed dramatically. I moved back in 2021, and to see what it looks like now is devastating. And that's why where a lot of my passion and just care is coming from. It's wanting to give my kids the Rondo experience that I had as a child. And that is love, peace, unity, community, know your neighbor, great education, great youth programming. Like I was surrounded by great, just phenomenal adults who cared about our youth. Mr. Mansfield was one of them who just planted those seeds, and they didn't expect nothing but greatness. And that's what we're doing with Rondo Double Dutch. Like our bar is high, and we believe in you. And it's really unlocking Black girl magic in all of the kids. And I teach that Black girl magic is confidence.
Mm-hmm. 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 Awesome. Let me pull up another shot here. I've got a shot, Jarrett, the one you put up. There's another I was looking for, but I think this is an amazing image. I love this photograph, man.
I do too.
Talk about it, Brother Mansfield.
Well, it's a thing where headshots, I'm a photographer, so it's like, okay, I need headshots for something. I want to represent our people. I want to represent Blackness. So everything I have is purposeful as far as the different layers of Blackness. That's how I thought about this headshot, even down to my bracelets from Africa.
Mm-hmm.
It's different layers of Blackness, and I took that, remote control my camera through my phone, and did my own headshot session.
That is just a marvelous, marvelous image photograph. So wonderful. Now there was another one where you've got a T-shirt with a message on it, right?
Yes, sir.
So we're looking for that one too. I want to show that too, if we can find it in time. But while we're looking for it, talk about living legends of Rondo.
Yes, I just had my exhibit at 825 Arts. Miss Mercedes, she was like, you know what? It's Rondo. You gotta bring it here. And it was a no-brainer, So my living legends of Rondo is basically giving flowers. It's basically giving flowers to the community that has helped raise me, who has saved my life, who were the parents to me when my parents weren't around. And I came up with the idea because COVID, it came from a dark place, but COVID, for those who know me, it almost took my life. I was in really bad shape. And then I was thinking about, man, there's so many people that I wanted to thank for getting me to this point in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had that in my mind, and it's like, I just need to give flowers to my people while they can still smell them.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I was able to get a grant from the Minnesota State Arts Board to create this project. And I just named some of the legends, my living legends from Rondo, like Teresa Battle, Ronnie Smith, Mitch McDonald, Mr. Smaller, Mr. and Mrs. Carter. And then I wanted to highlight some coaches like Saladin Wright. I wanted to highlight coaches because the coaches are some of the unsung heroes in the community, especially our community.
Yes.
Our coaches have helped raised hundreds upon hundreds of kids in the community, but they're not out in the forefront to get that notoriety. So I wanted to make sure people know that there were coaches that helped raise me, that took care of me, that made sure I had shoes to actually play basketball instead of borrowing my friend's shoes from the girls' basketball team, that were too small for me. But I still, but yeah, so my living legends of Rondo, I have a couple of pictures. How do I
put them in the chat, and then if you can put them in there, I think.
Just to piggyback off of what
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Mansfield was saying, like his living legends are even to this day legends to this new generation. Like Coach Ronnie Smith is my son Maro's coach at MLK. That just shows how small but how powerful and impactful these individuals are. Dr. Teresa Battle, she was my principal at Highland. Floyd Smaller, he's one of my mentors. So everyone that he has featured has been impactful in my life and even my kids' life. And that's generations of just legacy. And that is what's special. And that's really what Rondo is. It's a legacy. Like everyone who comes from here is just legendary with their community service that they give back to the community.
Awesome. We're trying to see, Jared's trying to give you instructions on how to upload the photographs. In the meantime, I told you I wanted to get back to your family, the Yarbarrows, because I think what's important here is understand the continuity and the connectedness of all of us, and that's intergenerational. So take a second and reflect on the shoulders that you stand on, and go back as far as you can in your memory of people who made it possible for you to be here, and then go back beyond your memory into your spirit and tell me what you know.
So I come from the Yarbrough side. My dad is a Yarbrough, Matthew Yarbrough. He was the youngest of 5 siblings. His mother was Rebecca Yarbrough and dad Michael Yarbrough. And my granddad, his family migrated from Mississippi. I just wrote my aunt because I know it starts with the A. I forget what the town was called in Mississippi. It starts with the A. I need to remember that. But they migrated. My granddad was actually in my great grandmother's. She was pregnant with him on the travel up here. So he was actually born in Chicago on the way here, but or Illinois. But he was raised and had life in St. Paul, Minnesota, in Rondo. And I forget how many siblings he had. I know, unfortunately, all of my grandparents on both sides are no longer here. So I can't get as much history or stories as I wish I'd like to, just because I was not in where I am today. Like now I'm intentional. I love asking and getting stories and information. But it was when I moved back to Rondo when I really started to really appreciate and understand where I come from and my family's roots. So I live across the street from Central Village Park, and that park has opened up a lot of blessings in my life. And it is one of the reasons why I started the Rondo comic book series through a partnership with Trust for Public Land. And I was doing a history comic book about the community. So I was going all the way back. And that's where my neighbors helped me. And Dee Dee Ray, she's my neighbor next door, and she's like, Mercedes, I know your whole family. And that's when I realized the power of your family. Like all I have to do is say my last name in Rondo, I say
Mm-hmm.
Yarbrough. They're telling me stories about my family, and I
Mm-hmm.
love it because they're no longer here where I can get those stories. And they're like, your great grandmother lived at the end of this block. So the block I live on now is actually the same block that my great grandmother, Dory Mae Yarbrough, lived on. And before she was displaced, her house was where when people migrated, they got
Mm-hmm.
food, shelter, their hair done. Like she was a caregiver. And
Mm-hmm.
just to know that that was my family's history and to know what I'm doing now on that same block is really meaningful to me because I'm like, wow, like the reason why I care so much is because that's my family. Like my family is givers. They love to give. And yeah, it's just beautiful. Even like Floyd Smaller, Marvin Anderson, they'll be like, oh, I know your Auntie Carol Rose and you come from a beautiful family, your grandma, like the stories just really make me feel like this is home and I belong here. And um yeah.
That's amazing. It's a wonderful story. And so when you think beyond what you can remember, what do you think about? I mean, do you sit and dream about the origin story of not only your family, but I'd say of humanity and how the creation of the world included the possibility that you would exist today, right here and right now? Do you go back in your spirit, in your mind, in your heart to the beginning, and even before the beginning?
I'm getting chills. When I get chills, I say that means God's present. I'm trying to calm down so I don't get emotional, but right now I'm actually in Babbitt, Minnesota. As we were talking before we got on camera, I'm camping and I
Mhm.
forgot a book. And I'm like, man, I wish I had my book. And they had some free books inside, and one of the books is Gordon Parks' book. So I grabbed it. I was like, what are the odds that this book of a Rondo legend is here? I'm reading this.
In Babbitt,
And right
in
on the
Babbitt.
front,
Yeah.
I forget what it said word by word, but it was just saying like a weapon. It was basically do you know what it is, Mr. Mansfield? A weapon, his quote.
Um,
Soldiers without swords, or something like that. Is that it?
I
Or
He was
uh
talking about his camera being a weapon.
right,
uh,
But
and that was the show, A Choice of Weapons.
uh,
Based off
yes,
of, yeah.
and recently, like when Mr. Mansfield was just talking about how he got into photography, like I bought a camera 2 years ago to document what I was doing because when I was in Rondo, what I realized is there's certain organizations and just people that are representing Rondo that aren't really giving back or taking care of the community. And I'm like, hold on, like I'm in the community and I'm going to show you guys the true narrative of what Rondo is and who the true leaders are and what we really do because a lot of things have not changed, but certain people are not being acknowledged or recognized. And that's also why I started Your Kid's Favorite Teacher, because as Mr. Mansfield said, like your kid's favorite teacher is the coach. Your kid's favorite teacher is a security guard. It is not the actual teacher, but these individuals are teaching your kid. Why? Because they are giving their love, time, and energy. So I like to acknowledge people like that and work with people who are doing the real work. So I bought my own camera to control the narrative and really show what is going on in our community. And so, like, just spirituality and dreaming, like, my dream is that we can protect our community and control our narrative with our stories from our perspective. And that's why I'm really happy to be at 825 Arts because I'm able to put people like Mr. Mansfield and let his work be shown and displayed in his community, his way, how he wants to. And that's really important, just coming from an artist perspective. A lot of times we get invited in spaces, but our work gets used and abused. Like they use our work, but they don't let us have full creative vision for how we want to show and tell our story. And then they'll highlight, like, look who we featured, but then they don't really support us in the way that we need to be supported.
mhm,
And so my dream is just being able to control our narrative and um, keep our history alive because as we see a lot of things are changing fast. Gentrification's changing. As I mentioned earlier, like only 15% of the Black population even owns or house or Black owned business in our community now. And I'm just hoping that we can start to change and go towards what we used to have, and that's us controlling our narrative and teaching our kids and creating our own.
In a sense, you want to elevate the potential for the magnetic nature of the community to come forth so that it begins to attract people back, people who left. Wouldn't it be wonderful if a person might have left for a generation or 10 years or 30 years and came back and invested?
Yeah, so in 2021, that's when I released the Black to the Future comic book. And a goal of mine making that was to really show homage to my community. So I mentioned like 2 Scoops, like every business in there was Black owned. Golden Time, they were Black owned from the actual Rondo community. And then when I started the Double Dutch team, I was intentional on making sure it was Rondo. And everything I do, I'm saying Rondo, Rondo, Rondo. And I've been telling everyone, like, start when you introduce yourself, say, I'm a 4th generation Rondo descendant.
That's right.
And because it keeps our history and power alive to show like, oh, wow. And my dream is to put Rondo on the map. So when people think of like New York, Atlanta, now they're thinking of Rondo. And that's been a goal and dream of mine since 2021. And now that it's 2025, I'm starting to see it come into existence more and more. And I'm getting excited. And I'm really just
listen, let me tell you how important it is. Let me tell you how important that is. My wife and I, we live in North Minneapolis off of Plymouth Avenue. We've been here since '73. And 20 years ago, 15 years ago, we used to walk every day down by the river, by the Stone Arch Bridge behind the post office. This was before they developed all the condos. In fact, before we started walking on that pathway, we drive down there and it was just old railroad yards and weeds and stuff. And we buy our lunch somewhere, pull up over some weeds, but over close to the bank of the river looking at it. And then when they built the river road, very beautiful, where the post office is in downtown Minneapolis. I don't know if you know the area or not, but it's a wonderful, walkway. So we would walk down there and we watched them build the new Federal Reserve Bank. We watched the building of all the new apartment buildings. And we said, you know what? One of these days, we'll be walking down here and somebody is going to come up and ask us, what are you doing in this neighborhood? And that's why what you're saying, Ms. Mercedes, is so important. Because what will happen is that somebody will someday have the audacity to ask you or your son or your daughter, what are you doing in my neighborhood? And for you to have your children trained to know that when I introduce myself, I'm introducing ownership, equity, presence, and I set the standard here. I define the conversation. What do you think?
That's actually been happening. So I've been performing, like I was just at the Children's Museum and I'm always saying like, we are Rondo Double Dutch. And I give the history of why we named it. And I'm like, Rondo is just 5 minutes from here. You go up the block, that's Rondo. And it was once a thriving Black community, blah, 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 blah. Then I show them the comic book if you wanted to learn more. But it's intriguing this new generation, but also getting them to understand what it once was and that I'm a product of that and I'm still here. But like you said, just owning, like, no, Rondo is me. Rondo is us. And like, you're in our space. So now that you're here, know about why you're here, but don't just come here saying Rondo without knowing its history. And then also like acknowledge and just show love when we are here.
Then saying you discovered it.
Right. Right. That's the whole the gentrification thing that's happening.
Miss Mercedes, would you try to pull up a couple of your comic book covers and send those over to Jared?
He should have them. I sent the 2 Rondo covers. He should have them. Yeah. Okay,
the comic book cover. Okay, great. We'll show that as well. That's one we did show it to begin with. Go ahead, Brother Roosevelt.
Oh no, I was just piggybacking off of what you guys were talking about. there's plenty of times where I'm in the neighborhood, and somebody from a different persuasion is giving me the side eye, like I don't belong here. Where I can walk down the street and tell you where my mom and my uncles used to live. Don Selby, my grandfather stayed above the antique shop right across the street from JJ Hill. We used to be there used to be a mural right down, I think it's on Milton, or it's right by JJ Hill also. There was a mural, and it got painted over, which really made me upset. So whoever bought that building, they painted it over. But this mural was a representation of what Rondo was. It was a mural of Black doctors, Black police officers, the kids, nurses, this whole circle of community, and it was all us.
Who was the painter? Who painted the mural? You know?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It was up in the 70s.
Okay.
And the same with the mural on the side of Oxford or Jimmy Lee. I mean, I feel like those pieces, if we can pull some funds together, and if the artist is still with us, have them redo them, like paint, like remake them, not remake them, but revitalize them,
refresh them.
Yeah, because those images were powerful, and that's why photography is so important to me also. And what I teach, I teach a course called Photography in Life, and it's talking about how we are controlled by imagery. Now, somebody can have an image of who you are, and they think they define your whole history based off of the picture that they have of you. And so, like, I bring it into how you present yourself. You know, what is the picture that you're letting somebody know? When the old phrase, the picture says 1,000 words.
Right.
True.
Yeah.
It's true. And we have to realize that that's the way of the world now. Imagery. You don't have to say it anymore. They put a certain image of a certain people, then you get this perception based off this image. And so why not be purposeful with how we present ourselves?
Yes.
Purposeful of how we receive ourselves, and purposeful of how we expect people to view us. We have to show something different if we want to be seen different. So
we have a couple of your images here to bring up. Let's bring them up, Jared. Walk us, describe this as part of your collection.
Yes, this is my Living Legends of Rondo. This was super special to me. The radio in the back is a radio.
My favorite, Mr. Small. Oh, yeah, Mr. Smaller. I call him Mr. Floyd.
Mr. Floyd. Yeah, so we used to we bonded through music when he was a Phi Ed teacher at Central High School. And so I used to get out of class early just to go into his office and listen to him and listen to the jazz that he played me and the stories he told me about Rondo. And so with this one, my radio back there is from 1936. And when he got there, he was like, oh my gosh, this is my radio. Me and my brothers used to watch TV through this radio. And he said we used to watch TV through the radio. So it was like you get this picture in your mind, what's going on through the sound, you know? And so he was telling that story to somebody. And so I was just next to him, and I decided to take this picture. And I didn't know that. I mean, that radio piece just felt right for me to create that scene for him. So this picture isn't
beautiful
in the exhibit, but it just told the story of how he just connected with that. I got to learn about his childhood, him and his brothers, and how important this radio was to connect him to a world that he helped create in his mind, him and his brothers, watching TV through the radio.
And then the next image, bring that up one. Yeah,
this is actually in the show. This is Coach Ronnie. He really, really looked after me. and I didn't know what he was doing until I was an adult. You know, he made it possible for, well, one example is he sold me a pair of basketball shoes for $20, right? He didn't give them to me. He made me earn it, right? So the fact that I paid, it kept my it how can I say it? I didn't feel like I was getting a handout.
Right.
You know, it was like I actually earned it, even though it was $20
Yeah,
and
it was
it was
value, more value.
shoes. He made it so that I had that dignity of earning what I'm putting on my shoes. And there's I mean, and every time we had a basketball game, a really hard, important basketball game, he used to invite me and the other brothers that played at Central to play basketball against him and the older people. And so as we're playing, he's teaching us. He's like, no, you're going too fast here. Rap City, you need to do this and this and this. He's coaching and teaching, getting us prepared for the big games that we're going to go enter. We didn't know that. We didn't know that at all. He's been taking care of us directly and indirectly our whole teen years. And it was just amazing how he does that, and he makes you feel confident about it. It's like it's never a handout. You know, it's I kept my dignity, and that was big for me, especially back then, because my family was in and out of shelters and everything, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going back into a shelter. I'll live on this porch. I will sneak into my friend's house at 1 o'clock in the morning, get up at 5 a.m. before his parents get up just to go to school. You know, that's how prideful I was. And he made sure I kept that dignity intact when he was hooking me up with the things I needed as a youth.
Awesome. Let me bring up this comic book image of yours, Miss Mercedes, and as you've mentioned your comic book work a lot. Tell us about that. This is really amazing.
So this is actually the flyer for the Rondo Days Kids Corner. So it's not a comic book, but I just wanted the kids to be excited to come to Rondo Days and come to the Kids Corner. I got a lot of fun things planned for them. And it's a spinoff of all of my comics. And at the bottom, you'll see Mr. Floyd Smaller. That's him as a younger version, and then him older, which is featured in the Rondo Days comic book. But yeah, all of those images are just past images from my previous books, and the Rondo Days Kids Corner is a spinoff of all of them. So I like to just the imagery aspect. Like I want kids to read the book, but know they can experience it in real life. So a lot of what I do is creating things where kids can see themselves and realize like, oh, wow. And then they'll be inspired to know like, wow, I can do that too. And just getting them to know like you are the author of your life. You get to write what happens next. Just like I wrote this book and I'm making it come true. You have the power to do that too.
That's awesome,
man. I love that, man. Oh man, that makes my heart smile right there, man. I love that.
Well, we got about a minute to go. Last words, Brother Roosevelt, and then we'll close, Miss Mercedes, with you making the invitation, inviting people to.
Oh, last word. I appreciate the invite. You know, I just want us to be more purposeful about recognizing where we come from, and letting the younger generation know that we are better than our stereotypes, and we are somebody.
That's right. And I'm going to call you when we get done because I've got some work that we can do together. Okay.
Yes, sir.
My closing remarks would just be love is power. Once I started to realize that, it's brought a lot of power in my life. Just show love, like love your community, love your neighbor, love your family, and it will bring power to whatever you're doing. And I've seen real life magic happen in my life just from showing love, and it comes right back. So.
Yep.
And let's close on the invitation, Miss Mercedes. Invite people to show up.
Yes, come to Rondo Days next Saturday, July 19th, 11 to 7 p.m. The Kids Corner is from 11 to 4 to give myself and the other vendors time to see the grand finale performance showcase.
Awesome.
It's going to be a vibe and good time.
Thank you both so much. We're going to have another Rondo conversation, hopefully Coach Smaller and Roger Anderson tomorrow. Tomorrow's version of the conversation with El McFarlane is called the Healing Circle. And we'll focus on their work as healers in community and as leaders and elders in our community. Thank you both so very much, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good day.
All right, y'all. Peace.